Today we're making strawberry cheesecake cookies. All right, first thing we're adding to the bowl is 6 ounces of cold cream cheese. Then we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of granulated white sugar. Then we're gonna do half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. We're gonna mix it for about 2 minutes until it's smooth. All right, that's what we got. Now we're gonna get a cookie sheet and line it with parchment paper. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my teaspoon and I'm gonna separate this out into 2 teaspoon portions. Okay, we don't want them to be round. We want to flatten them out and kind of turn them more into discs. If the cream cheese is too soft, you can always pop them in the freezer for a little bit and let it harden up a little bit. They'll be easier to shape. These are what mine ended up looking like. Now we're gonna put this in the freezer until they're completely hardened. In a saucepan, we're gonna add about 1.5 cups of fresh diced strawberries. Now we're gonna add 1/4 cup white sugar to the strawberries. We're gonna cook these over medium heat for 45 minutes, and about halfway through, we're gonna come in with a wooden spoon or a potato masher, and we're gonna just kind of squish them down. All right, now I'm gonna come in with a wooden spoon and just smash it all down. My house smells amazing right now, holy crap. Once you get close to the end of the time, you wanna keep stirring because it'll start sticking to the bottom of the pot. I did not cook it for the full 45 minutes because it was starting to look done. So this is what we have. I'm gonna put this in the fridge to cool while we do our next step. All right, I preheated the oven to 350 and we're gonna start on the dough. We're gonna add 2 3/4 cup flour, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then we're gonna whisk all of that together. Now we're gonna set this aside. In a separate bowl, we're gonna do 1 cup of sugar. Then you wanna add 2 sticks of very soft butter. All right, now we're gonna mix that until it's fluffy for about 2 minutes, so about 2 minutes. All right, this is how it looks. Not sure if I said this, but I used unsalted butter. All right, to the same bowl, we're gonna add 1 room temperature egg. And then we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right, now we're gonna mix this for another 1 to 2 minutes until it's light and fluffy. All right, now I'm gonna add the dry ingredients to the wet ones. I'm just gonna add a little bit at first. All right, we're gonna push most of the dough against the side of the bowl and we're gonna flatten out about 1/4 of it onto the bottom of the bowl, and we're gonna spoon in some of the jam. Now we're gonna add more of the dough on top of that. We're basically just layering the dough and the jam. Now we're gonna kind of evenly cut the dough, and we want to fold the jam and the dough together, but not too much. So just kind of fold them in slightly. We want there to be pockets of jam throughout the cookies. All right, I'm gonna leave it like that and see how these turn out. Now I'm gonna take this 2 tablespoon scoop and so I ended up with 14 of the cream cheese discs. So I'm gonna separate out 14 balls of the dough. And then we're going to flatten the dough so that the cheesecake discs fit right in the center. Now we're gonna get our cream cheese discs and put them right in the center. All right, I'm just gonna kind of squish the dough around it a little bit. Then I'm gonna scoop some more dough on top to kind of enclose the cream cheese and dough. Okay, you want them to be slightly flattened out. All right, now we're gonna roll the cookie dough balls into some white sugar. All right, now I'm gonna pop these in the oven for about 11 to 12 minutes. All right, this is what they look like fresh out of the oven. I'm gonna let them cool on the pan for 10 minutes and then we're gonna move them to a cooling rack.